Hello everyone, my name is Millie and welcome to The Performing Arts and Me. I'm currently studying at London Studio Centre on the musical theatre pathway of their theatre dance degree course, and I make videos about the performing arts and my general life experiences, so if you're interested please do subscribe. Last year I did quite a lot of auditions and I've made some videos about some of the audition days, experiences, etc. That I had, so if you're interested then you can go and watch those. But in today's video I'm going to be talking about some of my tips for preparing for the dance round for places on musical theatre related courses at places like drama schools. Now it would probably depend on the school as to what the dance round of an audition might look like, so some of these tips may or may not be relevant depending on where you're auditioning for and what their dance audition looks like. In this video I'm going to be focusing on the dance round, but just in general I'd recommend reading any information they give you about the audition day, planning out your journey in advance and things like that, but I'm going to be trying to focus on the dance part of the audition. So some of these tips may or may not be relevant for you. Again, feel free to leave what isn't relevant to you, or if you don't think it will help you or you don't like it, then feel free to leave it. But yeah, let's get started. My first tip for you is to prepare what you're going to wear, what you're going to take with you, and what you're going to do with your hair if you're doing anything. I feel like if you have those things prepared, then that's one less thing to worry about on the day when it comes to the audition. If the school sent you some information about what to wear, then read through that, and also they might tell you what to do with your hair. I think I'll make another video another time about things you might want to wear in an audition, but yeah, just my tip for today is it just might be an idea to have what you're going to wear prepared, just so that you know in advance. That's one less thing to worry about. Also making sure you've packed any dance shoes, for example, you might need, and things like that. My next tip is if you haven't done a full structured ballet class before, then I would recommend, if you can do a ballet class then great, but if you can't do a ballet class for whatever reason before your audition, then maybe at least watching one. So if you can find a class on YouTube, then that might give you an idea of the structure of the class, but be aware that the exercises that you do in an audition, depending on which class you watch, might be at a different level. So if you're new to dance and you watch a really advanced ballet class and you watch it and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do that in my audition, just be aware that they might be doing it at a different level to what you have to do in the audition. My next tip, again if you're maybe newer to dance, is to have an idea of some terminology if you can. This will help you, I think, if they're using it in the audition, it might help you pick up routines and combinations quicker. You might not find it as useful, but when I'm trying to remember jumping exercises, sometimes I find it helpful to kind of say either the terms or my own term for it in my head. But yeah, so sometimes you might want to have an idea of a word such as plie, tendu, arabesque, jeté, relevé, retiré, demi-point, parallel and turnout. These might come up in jazz classes as well as ballet classes. Things that are less likely to come up in jazz classes, I think, are words like fondu, glissé, maybe glissade, yeah, things like that. Yeah, so just if you have a chance to familiarise yourself with some of those words, then that might help you with picking up. My next tip is if you're newer to dance, if you can do a dance class before your audition, then that might help you. Even if you can just watch one on YouTube and do it alongside, watch a YouTube video and do the class at the same time or whatever. Obviously make sure it's safe to do. Try and pick one that's an appropriate level for you, and make sure your space is okay so that you're not going to kick anything or anything. But if you have the space, the time to do one or more if you can at home, then that might help you when it comes to the audition. Also, if you're doing classes at a dance school or somewhere else anyway, then carrying on with those will probably help you with preparing for your audition. If you have a bit more time until your audition, say you're watching this a year in advance or something, then maybe looking at doing a pre-audition course or something, maybe over the summer, or I don't know when they're all on. You do tend to have to pay for them, so that might not be possible for everyone, and also if you don't live near the place, then that might not be so accessible for you, but if you could get to do something like that, then that might help you with your audition preparation. My next point is about mentally preparing yourself. So when you're doing auditions at drama schools and places like that for musical theatre, often, not always, but often the singing and the acting will be just you and the panel. But the dance section of the audition at places like this is generally in front of everyone because it's often in the form of a dance class. And so the likelihood is you will be doing a dance class with other people that you don't really know, and there'll be different levels of experience in the room. Different people will probably have different strengths and weaknesses, and because you're all in together, you'll probably have other people watching when you're dancing, not just the people on the panel. So if you can get experience at dancing in front of other people, or you do dance classes or things like that, then that might be helpful. But even if you do regular dance classes at like a dance school, you're likely with the same group of people, and in an audition situation, you're unlikely to know most of the people that are doing it with you. So this might not affect everyone, but I think it's probably just best to be prepared that it could affect you. For example, you might be doing a routine in the audition and you really want to perform it, but it might be that other people in the room aren't performing, and so you feel a bit self-conscious about performing. It might not affect everyone, but I think just being prepared that you could end up feeling self-conscious in an audition situation, and maybe try and think beforehand, like, if that does happen to me, how am I gonna like try and focus on what I'm doing and showing myself in the best way that I can. The next point I have is practicing improvising to music. If you're at home, maybe shut yourself in your bedroom and just practice improvising, or if you have the chance to practice improvising in front of other people, because again, that could be something that you might feel a bit more self-conscious about. It might not be, you might be perfectly happy improvising in front of other people, but yeah, either way, practicing on your own or in front of others, because quite a lot of auditions that I went to did ask me to do some form of improvisation, so practicing like listening to and responding to music might help you feel a bit more prepared for that part of the audition. If you know how to do it safely, then you could also work on strength, stamina, technique, flexibility, but be safe with that. If you can get to a dance class, flexibility and strength class or something like that, that might be better than trying to do it on your own if you're newer to strength, stamina or flexibility work, or if you're newer to technique work. Also, some colleges might ask for a dance solo, in which case preparing that before you go, but I think I'm going to make another video about like choreographing or preparing a dance solo. So yeah, if you're interested in that video, then please subscribe so you don't miss that. And then my final thing is kind of a tip, but not really a tip, and that's to just go to auditions. What I mean by this is the more auditions you do, the more experience you build up of what an audition is like. Obviously, there will be differences between the schools, but if you haven't already like booked your auditions, it might be worth bearing in mind that you'll be building up experience as you go along. So if you are choosing your dates, it might be worth bearing that in mind. Okay, and those are all the points that I have to share with you for today. If you've got more ideas of ways to prepare for the dance part of the audition, then please leave them in the comments. And please note, like I said, that not all of these tips are necessarily going to work for everyone, and I'm not saying you have to do all of these things or you won't get in, etc, etc, etc. They're just some ideas if you were stuck for ways to prepare, because like for the dance round, if it's a class, you might struggle to think of ways to prepare and you might want to do some preparation work for it. So yeah, that's what this video was, to give some ideas. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please do give it a like to let me know, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so that you don't miss my future videos. If you are auditioning, I hope things all work out well for you, and yeah, thank you very much for watching. Bye!